The podcast you're about to hear will inspire, innovate, give you insight, and take you on the wings of leadership. This is why we call it the I3L. Inspiration, innovation, insight, and leadership. Get ready to embark on the journey to greatness with Kayode Oguta.
Hi, welcome to I3L podcast again. My name remains Kayode Oguta. It's always a pleasure to be in your space. I hope you're having a great week. And once again, before the weekend starts, I want to bring to you the I3L podcast. We've started the foundations of exceptional leadership, the things we believe that once you have the foundations, there are pillars in which you could build great structures upon. And because once you get these things right, you would always become an exceptional leader. So we started from the first day that it's not about you, the philosophy is not about you. The second week we went on and we said that self-awareness is one of the great foundations of exceptional leaders. So every leader who becomes exceptional have a high sense of self-awareness, and that's backed up even by research. Now, last week we spoke about grit, the work of Angela Duckworth at the University of Pennsylvania, and we said grit is one of the greatest predictors of success for an exceptional leader. The ability to persevere for the long term and the goals in which you are going through. And we said in this volatile world, this volatile season, that it is important that leaders must have grit. So if you have grit, it's a predictor that you are going to be successful. As we're continuing this week, you understand, we're going to be thinking about the fourth, what I call foundations, in which all exceptional leaders must have so that they could build a great life of leadership. Because once you get these things right, then you will be able to succeed. Now, some people have asked me recently, I wrote a book called Leadership Quagmire, and I gave it to a lot of people to read, and some people told me that, okay, I brought up questions, what's going to be the answer? So I said, okay, you know what, before I give you the answers that will solve the quagmires, let me first tell you the foundational things that the people that will solve those quagmires would have. So they must have, number one, they must understand that it's not about them. Number two, they must be self-aware people. They must know their strengths, they must know their weaknesses, they must know the values, they must know their motivations, they must know their drives, and they must also know their purpose. And so last week we spoke about grit. They also must be gritty people. You understand? They also must be gritty people. Now, this week we're talking about the fact that they must have something we called initiative. It was Mary Ash that said something. She said there are three kinds of people in the world. Now, those that make things happen, those that watch things that happen, and those that wonder how things happen. Now, I don't know which one of them are you. There are people that make things happen, there are people that watch things happen, and there are people that wonder how did it happen. Now, for me, I believe that every exceptional leader are the ones that will make things happen. A person without initiatives never leads. That's the truth. The person without initiatives never leads. Now, they may be in a position of leadership, but they don't execute leadership. They may be in a position of leadership, but they do not execute leadership. You know why? Majority of the people have intentions, but only leaders have initiatives. People have intentions, but only leaders have initiatives. One of the reasons behind the failure of communism, in my personal opinion, was that he tried to stifle initiatives. Now, he tried to say, look, people do not have individual initiatives to do things. So, because of that, communism did not win. So, if you look at it critically, initiatives would release power because that's exactly why capitalism actually won. So people of initiatives are always leaders. So, somebody said something to me recently and I think that's beautiful. He said, initiative is to leadership what RAM is to a computer. Initiative is to leadership what RAM is to a computer. So without the RAM, the computer cannot work. And the quality of the RAM will determine the quality of what? The computer. Very simple. So initiative to me is like the RAM in a computer. So everything will remain in the same position. The law of Newton says that every object remains in the same position until the force comes and moving forward. I think that everybody in an organization, in a country, in a social interaction would always remain in the same place, in the same spot, unless someone of initiatives come and take charge. And that's why that person is a leader. So if you look at it critically, what we should actually be training people about is, look, they should be able to learn to take initiative. Initiative is an essential in exceptional leadership. So train people so that they can take initiatives so that they can now win. Because all exceptional leaders are the people who have taken initiative. So, because people who take initiatives actually grow. People without initiative actually stagnate. People that take initiatives actually grow. People without initiatives actually do what? Stagnate. Now, many times, I don't know about you, you've had to be in positions where everything is about the same. You understand? The same rules follow. But someone decided to take initiative that, look, how can I change the rules of the game? You understand? It was the same kind of ways that people like Bill Gates won, same kind of ways that people like Steve Jobs won their races. You understand? And that's because they've just taken initiative to become better, initiative to do things in a different way than every other person has been doing that. So, in my personal opinion, and for this podcast, I'm going to be speaking to you about 5 things in which I think, in my personal opinion, that everybody who has initiatives could actually do and win. Number 1, people that have initiatives actually take ownership. They assume responsibility, because taking ownership is doing the right things without being told. Taking ownership is what? Doing the right things without being told. So everyone who takes initiative, the first thing they do is that they take ownership of the situation. They know that if nothing happens without action, they know that nothing happens by chance. They know that nothing happens by assumption. So they take action to move forward. They take action, act, and they know that if they do not act, they know that nothing will change. So, and they're not paralyzed by what? By inaction. So here I always say to my people, and I always say look, people that take initiatives are no excuse people. You understand? Once they see a roadblock, they find a way to bypass the roadblock in the midst of the legal things available to them. So many people do not grow this power, and hence they limit themselves in leadership. So if I look at someone and I look at his degree of initiative, I will know the degree to which the person is taking leadership, or I know the degree to which the person is exercising leadership. So if someone's not taking ownership, if someone is not accepting responsibility for what he's doing, then I know the person is not being a leader. Then I know the person cannot accept leadership responsibilities. In fact, people that take initiatives actually do not give in to circumstances. So they become natural leaders. They find a way to make a path when there seems to be no path in the bush. They just find a way to make a path where there seems to be no path. They don't say that because this has been the way we've always been living, our fathers lived, our grandfathers lived, and that must be the way we also know. Because my grandfather lived like this, my great-grandfather lived like this, does not mean I'm going to continue like that. I must find a path to a new life. So they do not give in to circumstances, and they try to make sure that they find a way out. So from taking ownership, the next thing that comes out clearly from that is that they are now becoming proactive people. You know what Stephen Covey who said in one of the 7 habits of highly effective people, that proactivity is one of the 7 habits. But you can't be proactive without taking initiative, without how would I start? How would I start something when I don't even have the power to start it? So taking ownership or being proactive, it's one of the consequences of having initiative. So if proactivity is a habit of effective people, then initiatives is the structure in which proactivity reigns and lives on. So people who take initiatives now cannot become action-oriented because they are proactive. They can now take action. They are not stopped by external sources. No, I will use this word. They have an internal sense of locus of control. So because of that, they are internally motivated to take action. Now, because of that, they are better reflective people than others, and they make sure that they are true to themselves. So that's why I said is the structure on which proactivity rests upon. Initiative is the structure on which proactivity rests upon. So when people take initiative, have the power of initiative in their lives, they're able to be proactive, they're able to take action. And you know what? What's about leadership? You want to take action, you want to lead people to a direction. And how do you lead people to a direction when you have never been there? How do you lead people in the midst of challenges and storms? That's why proactive people have a way in which they win. Now, another thing that I think that initiative does to people is that it enables them to be agile, flexible, and yet unchanging. Flexible and yet unchanging. Flexible in their plans, unchanging in their missions. Flexible in their plans, unchanging in their missions. And there's no way they can do that without being innovative. So people that takes initiative actually become more innovative, and in trying to be innovative, they also use a lot of their imaginations. And finally, the people that take initiatives always seize opportunities. Now, in my opinion, every organization that takes initiatives always defeats the other ones that do not take initiatives. And by the time you wake up and you find out that you want to play the game has been played and the game has been won. Countries that take initiatives, they play the game has been played and the game has been won. Take Dubai, great country. They took initiative that, look, they were not going to wait for oil to finish before they would change their source of income or foreign exchange. What they do? They decided to build a tourism hub and they succeeded. Why? It was initiative. Now, if you want to do a tourism hub now in the Middle East, you probably will not be able to do what Dubai did because everybody first go to Dubai. So the people that take initiative become the leaders. So Dubai is the leader in the hub in the Middle East. If any country takes it in Africa, fine. Any country takes it in England, fine. Why? Because initiative will win. The first to market always wins. That's serious business. The first to market always wins. Men of initiatives are men of decisions. They take decisions when others are hesitating. When countries take initiative, they take decisions when others are hesitating. So when leaders, when countries, people, societies don't take initiatives, it's because they're hesitating in the light of opportunities. So the people of initiatives always seize opportunities, and maybe I shouldn't add, they also seize and create opportunities. Now, but the people without initiatives never seize and create opportunities. They always wait for the crumbs, and the crumbs may be too late. Only dogs eat the crumbs. My apologies. Because when you take initiative, you're not going to be procrastinating. You're not going to be undecided. You're not going to be vacillating between opinions. You understand? You're going to know that, look, I have a destination to reach. I have a goal to make. I have lives to transform. I have people to lead. You understand? So you got to take initiative. And you know that you cannot just give excuses. So leaders, exceptional people, they will just take initiative. So if you look at it critically, instead of asking people to be exceptional leaders or creating people to be exceptional leaders, all I need to do is just let me tell you, what's the degree to which you're taking initiative in your field? If you're not taking initiative in that field, then you're not going to be a leader in that field. But if you take initiative in any field that takes initiative, then you're going to be a leader. That's just what it means. That's simple. Simple logic. That's how it wins. That's how it works. Wow. So we've spoken about it now. What are you going to do? How are you going to make sure that you begin to take initiative? Because when you do that, you build your confidence and you become better. And once you build your confidence, you become better, then you'll be a leader. So I want to end this podcast this week by asking that in what ways can you begin to take initiative? Nothing move forward until someone acts. Everything will stay in the same object, same place, until a leader takes initiatives. And that leader can be you. I challenge you to be you. God bless you. See you next week.